Good afternoon, my music makers. How's it going out there? Hope everybody's doing well. Hope everybody is trying to get through this major inflation that's going on right now. And basically, welcome to Clusterfuck 23. Anyway, so what I wanted to go over today is the 3 steps that I do when I sound check. So basically, it's just, you know, I don't think there's a wrong way to sound check your setup. You know, there's 2 sound checks that I do. I do a monitor sound check, make sure my levels are up, and then the mains, and that's pretty much it. Yeah, so and then gain stages 1, 2, 3. That's what I wanted to share with you guys, what I do when I get out there and do my solo gigs with the gear that I have. And I don't have a whole lot, you know. It might seem like I do. You know, I've got 2 speakers, but I do have a flight case for the speakers that holds both QSCs, and it's on rollers. And man, I actually recently priced those things. Good thing I got it when I did. Jesus. So sad out there. Anyway, so and so I basically have a PA system, powered speakers, QSCs, K2s. They're 1,000 watts each. And then I have a board. I don't even remember the name of the board. I can't even remember the name of the board. I mean, I've got a Mackie board that some of you guys know I used to use the Mackie, and then I got that lighter board. I don't even know the name of it. But anyway, so I got the board, and then my effects, and that's pretty much it. My guitar, and that's it. So yeah, I just wanted to go through those 3 steps on how I sound check my setup when I'm at a solo gig. So, but before we jump into that, yeah, the work is starting to come in, so that's a blessing. I finally got to play at that Town Zen. I think I'm gonna. Kim recorded a little piece of it, so I'll probably post it up. Some of you, well, I don't know, maybe you haven't, because she posted it up on her site, but on her Facebook, but I don't have it on mine. So, anyways, yeah, so I went through that, so I had to go kind of chase my money for that place. But it wasn't, you know, it's an honest mistake, and it happens, but it always seems to happen to me. It's my luck, right? So, you know, because I always say on my invoice, or I tell them in person if I don't have an invoice for them, I tell them that I'll always be paid upon the performance, the day of performance. Always paid. I always make sure I make that real clear. You know, you don't want people going, well, yeah, if you want to come back tomorrow. And that's happened a few times. It's no big deal. Not that anybody was trying to avoid paying me, but it's a pain in the ass for me, because I got to go in my car the next day to go chase my check and pay for gas, cost gas. And the way gas is these days. So make sure you tell your guys that you're playing for, and if it's new, make sure everything is on the table, so there's no misunderstanding. There's a good communication, and let them know that, you know, after you discuss your price, make sure you tell them, or put it in the invoice, paid upon performance. Very important. But things happen once in a while, and, you know, and the good gigs, the great, most of the venues I play at are great, and everybody's honest and good people, and they're music lovers, so I'm blessed that way. But even up north, you know, it just happens. They forget they get caught with their pants down. They don't have enough money in the drawer, or they didn't bring their checkbook, whatever. So, but anyway, so it's just nothing worse than, especially now, geez, having to chase your money. That sucks, man, because you're spending money to go get your money. Really? Okay. But anyway, so yeah, I've got a lot of things to talk about. Not today, but today I'm just going to go over the 3 steps that I do on my sound check, and let's get that done and going, right? Alright, I don't know if you're going to be able to see this or not. I should do this right, but I am just got so much on my plate right now, but I want to get this out to you guys. So I don't even know if you can see this or not. So we'll just say, and I just picked up this board, so we'll say number one. Number one. All right. First thing I do is, after everything is set up, is I stage gain. Now, sometimes when I stage gain, you know, when you're in a completely different room versus inside or outside, it's just, it changes. It just changes. So double check, even though you have your settings and maybe you made marks on your board where the gain is supposed to be on the channels you're using. Yeah, just double check and do a sound check with your gain stage. Not that you'd have to reset your gain stage, but just make sure that you're just right below clipping is my motto. I always do that. In other words, if it starts to clip, back it when you see it. Gain staging. Yeah, there we go, something like that. Okay, so make sure you do that. You probably can't even see this damn thing. This marker, this thing sucks. But I'll put the camera up closer so you can see it. So yeah, so make sure you gain stage. Make sure that just check your gain and just make sure you're not clipping in the red. And if you see a little bit of red, just back it down a notch till you're out of the red. You're good to go. All right, that's the first thing I do, and I have everything down. On this board here, everything goes down, but you bring the channel you're gain staging up to 0. Leave it at 0, and gain stage that channel, and then back it back down. So before I gain stage, everything is down. The mains are down, all the channels are down, and auxiliary is down for the monitor. So that's the first thing I do. I'll gain stage. So now, like, this might not, you know, a lot of you guys out there that have been doing this a while, I don't know if you can see me, a lot of you guys have been doing this a while, that's not that critical to I mean, you obviously already know, but just make sure you're not clipping. That's the main thing on gain staging. And then once that's done, and there's different ways of gain staging, I believe. A lot of them are pretty much the same, but like my Mackie, I gain stage a little bit differently than I do this board here. As a matter of fact, I think I bring my mains up to 0. I can't even remember. But anyways, yeah, and so some of you guys that have a smaller setup, don't worry about it. You know, just make sure your PA is not getting any feedback. So that's why it's important to gain stage. Just make sure your levels are good, and then you're all set. But for the guys that have a little bit more of an elaborate setup, I mean, I've got this one gal, I'm not going to say her name, but oh Lord, she plays out of I mean, it doesn't sound too bad, but she just plays out of an amp. And you know what? Maybe that's her budget. I don't know. But it's just, I don't know. I mean, it comes across good if you're just using your acoustic. Yeah, so she's got an amp with 2 channels. It's a line 6. She plays her guitar out of one channel and uses the vocals on the other. And it doesn't sound that bad. I'm being serious. So if you're just starting off, that's not a bad little setup. A line 6, I was surprised that line 6 sounded that good coming out of an amp, and she had it cranked up where everybody could hear. She had no feedback. She doesn't have that problem. So, and it's funny, she plays out of a Songbird Gibson acoustic, really nice acoustic. But you know, I just figured, but she's like, she can't carry her own equipment. You know, she's I don't know. I don't get that. You know, it's a labor of love. I would be happy. You know, it's a labor of love. And she gets her boyfriend, or she gets somebody, one of the staff at the venue I play at, and she'll get them to load it. And even Kim, when she first saw what I was doing and she came up, and she comes up to Kim, and she's a young girl, she's like in her 30s. And she comes up to me, she goes, "Why are you carrying the equipment?" You know, and Kim doesn't really care. I mean, she does. She does help me. She carries the, the music stand, the mic stand, stuff like that. Or she'll roll my main case in that's on rollers and a handle. I don't let her lift anything heavy. I do all that. But there's, want to get things up to the stage as quick as possible so we can sound check and get that done, have a little downtime for 15 minutes and have a Coke or whatever, or water or whatever. Just relax for a second before you get on the mic and start jamming. So, yeah, but she's like, "Why do you let him do that?" And it's like, when she told me that, I'm going, "Are you kidding me? What?" And she's like 30 years old. I'm like, where did this chick roll out of the cave from? She's been in the cave too long. Something. I don't know what's up with her. But, yeah. But, whatever. Each is their own. It's whatever. But anyway, so, yeah. Where was I? So number 1, gain stage. You can see that. Let's see. Okay. Oh man, this sucks. I need a thicker pen here. But anyway, so let's do this. Number 2. What'd I do? I don't know if you can see that. If I do this again on a board, I'll make sure I get a big ass marker and I'll have lighting and you'll be able to see it a lot better. So, and I'll probably post it up on the video. You'll probably see the three stages I go through. Number 2, I sound check the monitor system. Now, like I said, I said on the last post, there's a few different ways you could do monitors. You could daisy chain off the mains. There's just so many different ways to hook up the monitor. A couple different ways, anyways. But I use the auxiliary, and so I'll sound check the auxiliary. Remember, everything is down. All my channels are down. My main is down. Everything, and even the auxiliary main is down. So sound check monitor. Yeah, that says monitor right there. Can you see that? Forget about it. You can't see it, get some freaking glasses. No, I'm kidding you guys. Okay, so that's what I do. I sound check. That's the first thing I do. I get on the mic and I sound check. The monitor system only. Like I said, everything's down. So I'll go up to channel 1, which is my vocals, and bring up my voice and how loud I want it in the monitor. And then I move on to the acoustic. Next one is the acoustic. And then after that is my drums. So, yeah. And then I usually take the master monitor up on the top of the board, and I usually turn that to like 12 o'clock. And I'll put it at 12 and then start bringing up the channels. Vocal, guitar, and drums, right? And so I get the mix that I'm comfortable with. I like the drums. I'm not really too concerned about the guitar. I try to bring the guitar down a little bit because sometimes you get a little overtone, especially with the TC. It's sensitive, so you got to be careful. You can't have that guitar blasting in your face because it could bleed in the mic and jack all shit up. So, and get feedback. So I don't have my guitar real loud. My hearing's not that great, so I have it pretty hot. But I have the guitar at a kind of a low level, but I can still hear it, but it's low. Vocals are up, but not super, it's just the vocals are up, and then the drums are up too. I always have the drums and vocals almost the same level in my monitor, just because, that's the backbeat, and I want to make sure I'm in sync with the drums. So that's it on that. Like I said, if you've got if you're just using a PA for vocals, and you don't really have to worry about that, but you do want to make sure that if you can gain stage the little whatever you're using, just make sure you're not getting in the red. So yeah, so I check the monitor and I get a good monitor mix. Yeah, that's about it on that. So, and then we'll move on to number 3, last one. Number 3, I'm going to say SC means sound check. SC, sound check, main. Okay. Sound check the main. Okay. And I had a gentleman, I can't remember, brother, your name, but I can't remember, but you did ask me about that, and I gave you kind of a quick rundown on how I do that, and it made me think, okay, I got to share that with folks so they know, other people. Now, if you guys have your own way of sound checking, your steps that you go through, whatever, and it works for you, don't change it. This is just what I do. I go from gain staging, monitor mix, and then main mix. That's it, and you're done. So on the main mix, what I do is I will take, and this is what I do, is I'll take the main auxiliary, the master volume to the auxiliary, and I'll take it down to 0. So I'm not hearing anything out of my monitor. Okay, and then I'll take one of the mains, one of the QSCs, and I'll turn it around right towards me. It could be 10 feet away, could be even 5 feet away, or 15, 20 feet away. So I have the main, I'll turn the main towards me. The main is on. I'll turn it towards me, and let me see here. Probably out of focus. Anyway, so yeah. So you only need to turn one of the speakers towards you. That's it. Or that's what I do. And then I'll bring the main up under 0, obviously. I forgot where I bring it, but I don't bring it super hot, but I bring it up where I know it's going to pump out of the PA, right? So I just go by my ear, and then so I'll bring the mains up, or just one of the mains up, because you're only using one speaker to sound check, right? So so I'll bring that up, and then I start bringing up the vocals. Or what do I do first on the main? I think I could do the guitar first, because I want my guitar out there. Obviously, I have my guitar hotter in the main mix than I do in my monitor mix. So I bring the guitar acoustic up, and I make sure it sounds good, it's ringing, and it just sounds good and warm. So I try to get that, and then I'll bring it up on the channel, and then leave it right there. Okay, that's comfortable. And then I bring the drums. Boom. Bring the drums, and I have the drums slightly under the guitar, usually a little bit. Drums is a whole different signal, so it's boom. So, I usually have it a little bit under the guitar, and then you're done there. You've got everything mixed, right? So, and then the last thing I do are the vocals. So I bring the vocals up pretty high, and I make sure I rest my vocals above the drum and guitar mix. Make sure you don't have it in the mix or below the mix. People want to hear your voice. They want to hear the story. They want to hear the words of the song. So make sure, and I see that a lot, man. A lot of some solo artists, not everybody, but I just see it a lot. I've seen the other artists that I've seen play last summer and this summer. They never bring their vocals up above the mix, or like if it's a duet, if it's a man and girl, like her vocals will be up and nice and crisp and clean, and it's out there, and then the man on the acoustic guitar, his guitar's weak, the drums are weak, and it drives me nuts, because I just want to jump in and like help them, say, hey, let me give you a little mix here, But again, now there's a lot of people that use those array PAs, where Bose makes them. A lot of different companies make them now. If you still use a board, I'm sure it counts. It's the same way with the array system. But some people put the speakers behind you on those array systems because I believe they project unidirectional. They're not directional like a regular PA system where it's straight ahead. They kind of fill the room, and so I would think it's a little bit of a challenge, especially some people. Like I said, they put the column behind them. I don't understand that, and then I hear them saying, well, yeah, I kind of fight with feedback a little bit. I'm like, really? You fight with feedback, and you got the PA behind you? Okay. Well, that's the thing. So I think it's important to have a monitor system because you're just gonna get a better mix and true mix on your mains than you will than having them. Yeah, you're just kind of fighting with the signal because it's splashing into the mic. So yeah, that's why I don't use those systems. Nothing wrong with them. A lot of people got them dialed in and they got them sounding good. I'm not gonna lie, they got them sounding good. So, but I'm not into them. I don't like them. So that's it, guys. That's all I have for you. I don't know if you can see that. Let's see. Maybe I can. But okay, so the first one, I'm not gonna put the camera up, but first one, gain stage. Make sure you're not clipping anywhere. Number 2, sound check your monitors. How you're running them. Some people actually run a monitor, they daisy chain off the main because they want to hear exactly what's coming out the main. And there's nothing wrong with that. I've done that many a times. But now that I turn one of the mains around and get the exact mix I want for the audience. Oh yeah, and then once I turn that and get a nice mix, then I bring up the mains more. If it's a bigger room, I kind of have an idea of how far to bring the mains up. I don't want to get too loud, so but I don't want to be super quiet either. The purpose of us music makers doing the solo thing is we want to shed some light upon this crazy world or country or what's happening right now. I mean, we need to shed light. We need to bring smiles. We need to soothe souls. I always say that, right? And so, because people love it. People love to hear you. Even if your voice is a little pitchy, who gives a shit? Look at Neil Young. Look at Chris Christopherson. They both, they're a little pitchy. I'm not going to lie. But because his writing and the song you're doing or whatever just overwhelms, it just overrides his voice, I mean, even though his voice cuts through, but I'm using Neil Young as an example. I mean, he doesn't sing really flat, but it's a little pitchy sometimes, just the way his thing is. But anyway, so yeah, you want them to hear you, and we're out there to soothe some souls and put smile on people's faces. That's what we do. So we got to do it. Anyway, so that's it on this one. I love you guys. Thanks for the support. If you can, I'm still not monetized yet. I guess you have to have 4,000 hours or something like that in a year. In a year, you have to have 4,000 hours. I think I'm up to 3,937 or 47 hours. So I have a few hours left, but whatever. Once I get to that point, knock that part out, I can at least try to monetize and see what they say. But meanwhile, if you guys can help in the donation department just to help me keep pushing this along, I've got a lot of. It's nice because as it does get busy, I'm not going to have. It does get busy. What's really nice is I get to, when I go through the motions and doing the shows, the performances, things pop up in my head. I go, oh shit, I got to tell these guys about it, and see if they've been through it or whatever, or how I've handled it. There's always things that pop up, man, when we do gigs. It's a crazy world. It's dealing with people, especially the times now. People don't want to really work, and but we're pulling out of it. We just need to get a real president. So anyway, love you all. Finding your heart. So you guys be safe. Get in the woodshed. Practice those songs if you're just starting off. And that's it. So ciao for now, you guys.